going on, everyone? My name is Donovan, and today I'd like to introduce you to a watch that I've had for about 2 days now. I haven't had a whole lot of use out of it quite yet, but I did want to share with you just some quick first impressions of the relatively new Zeblaze Thor 5. So this comes to me from the folks over at Banggood.com, which I will link down in the video description. And you can see here that the regular price is $153 for it. However, they do have this little discount coupon code that brings it down to $140. But if you use the coupon code that I'm going to put down in the video description, you can actually get it for $135. So under $140. And when we talk about the specs for this watch, that's a pretty impressive price. So we'll go ahead and run through those specs here in just a little bit. But first thing to know that's important about this watch is that this is a watch running Android 7.1.1. So this is a full Android round smartwatch, as they call them. So it'd be similar to something like this watch right here. So this is the Cospet Optimus Pro. So this is one of those watches that pretty much has it all when it comes to the specs. But this watch right here, the Zeblaze Thor 5, a little bit cheaper, and you can see one of the other big differences between the two is that this one has a front-facing camera, which is an 8 megapixel front-facing camera, whereas this one has a side-mounted camera, and then the two buttons on the right side. Over here, our two buttons are over here on the left. So we have a power button and a back button. So we'll run through the software here in just a little bit, but I want to go ahead and set that down for now. So I want to go ahead and show you what you get in the box. So one thing you get in the box is this little charging cable. So the charging cable is going to be used, of course, to charge it up, but you can also use it for data transfer. So if you plug it into your computer, you can transfer songs and things like that from your computer. And then it also comes with a little screwdriver and a couple of very tiny screws. And it's nice that it comes with those extra screws because these are really easy to lose. So the screw is going to be used for this right here. This is where our SIM card is. So it uses a nano SIM. We have our heart rate sensor, and that of course is where the charger is going to magnetize, and it is a very strong magnet. So you can see it will hold the watch pretty well. And then I think that's about it. But one thing I did want to point out here about this watch, unfortunately, you can see that this one does not have removable bands, and that's because they actually have antennas built into the bands on this watch. Whereas if we take a look at the Cospet Optimus Pro, you can see this one has a different back. You can see it does have a SIM card heart rate sensor, so same heart rate sensor you get on this watch, but a little bit different setup there. But then you can see that this one has removable bands, whereas this one doesn't. So as far as making phone calls and things like that on this watch, it does have a speaker built in right here, and I actually like the location of that speaker because it's actually sitting, instead of sitting under your wrist, it's sitting above your wrist, which is nice. And then we have our microphone over here, and of course that front-facing camera, as I mentioned, it's an 8 megapixel camera. Now as far as the display on the Zeblaze Thor 5, we have a 454 by 454 pixel density on a 1.39 inch AMOLED display, which is really cool. Some other things that I should mention about it: it is running a MediaTek 6739 processor, which is a dual chip. So the reason why it has that dual chip is because you do also have a lower end processor that's used for this long standby mode. So if I go into long standby, you can see that when you do that, it says click the long-term standby icon and click the confirm button. And then you can see the functions that are supported here. So it'll record your sports, step counter, calorie, and heart rate. But all the other notifications and things like that are going to be shut off. There's no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, things like that will be no longer in use when you use long standby. However, if you use long standby, you're going to get much better battery life. So in regular usage, you'll get about 1 day of battery life. 1 full day of battery life, but if you're using it in that long standby mode, you can get much better battery life. And I've had upwards, now I don't know exactly what you can get with this one, but with the Cospet Optimus Pro, I can get upwards of like 20 days of battery life. But again, you're losing a lot of the smartwatch features that you get with these watches. Alright, so let's go ahead and run through the software real quick. So you can see if we swipe from the right, it's going to take us into all of our applications. So you can see I've added a few here. So I've added things like Spotify, and what else did I add? Temple Run and Strava. So I'll show you what it's like to use those. So everything else that's on here are things that it comes with. So this assistant is going to be used to connect it to the phone. You can use it for remote capture for your camera. You can use it for music controls of your phone, and then also Find My Device. So I have it connected currently to an iPhone, so probably not a super common thing. But when you do connect it to a phone, you are going to use an app called WeWatch 2. So I'll go ahead and show you that real quick. So this is the app here, and I'm getting some notifications here, but you can see here that it does give us our battery life, and then also down here step count and things like that. So I haven't been using the watch a whole lot. This is just kind of a first impressions. And then if we come down here, you can see some of the options we have here. There are actually more options available if you use it with a Android smartwatch, but this is what's basically going to connect it. Basically the purpose of the WeWatch app is so you can get notifications to the watch if you want it. Now this also can be used as a standalone watch. So you can see that I have a T-Mobile SIM card in here, and I do get 4G LTE. Also shows battery life there, so shortcuts of course are coming up here. So this is going to be disconnecting and connecting it to my phone. So if I want it disconnected, I can just go ahead and hit that. So right now it's saying that it's connected. We have airplane mode, and then this is going to be turning off our 4G LTE data if we want. And then we have some other shortcuts here like Wi-Fi. This is going to be our data option. Bluetooth up here. What is this one? Oh, that's to find your phone. No, it's quiet mode. So we can turn that on and off. This is hand bright is what they call it. That's what's going to allow it to turn the screen on when you flip your wrist, so you can see that that worked obviously. And let's go here. Alright, and turn that off because I don't like that being on. And this is our brightness button, so this is a quick way to change the brightness of the watch. And then our GPS, and this is going to kill all the apps in the background. And then one more swipe, this controls our music, so we can control the volume of our music. Now this play button does not work with Spotify, so I've tested out with Spotify. I believe it does work with Google Play Music though. So some applications it will work with, some it won't, and then we have our weather. So those are all of our shortcuts. Of course we have our main watch face, and if I hold down here you can see that I can go into the various watch faces that are available on the watch. Now one thing I have noticed about these in comparison to a lot of other full Android smartwatches is that this watch tends to have more sporty based application, or sorry, watch faces. So this one's kind of like an Apple-esque watch face, so it has battery, steps, and then I'm not sure, oh that's how many, your distance for the day. So then of course your date and time, and then also the weather on that watch face. So we'll hold down here on the main watch face, a couple other ones that are available, and you can see they're all mostly sport based, giving you a lot of good information. This one's kind of a more basic one here, so date, steps, heart rate, and then also battery life there as well. Alright, so those are the watch faces that it comes with. You can add as many as you want. There are just a ton of watch faces out there available for these full Android smartwatches, and then of course you can see if I go in here I can get some additional ones as well, or create my own on the app there. Alright, so let's go back into my main watch face that I like using. So now we're going to pull over from the right again, and you can see if I do it twice it takes me into some various workout options. Now this does have GPS, it does also have GLONASS, and it also has Baidu. So it has actually 3 GPS signals that it can receive. Now that being said, if you use one of these workout options, like let's just go into one real quick, outdoor run, and unfortunately this is something they have not fixed yet, but unfortunately I don't know, I shouldn't speak before I know for sure, but in all of the other full Android watches that I've used, the GPS actually isn't even used in this app, which is kind of silly. I really don't know why it wouldn't be used, but in the past it has not been used by this app. So if you want to do that, if you want to actually use GPS, I would recommend downloading something like Strava. So if I go here into Strava, you'll see that it'll actually be looking for GPS, and it does have really good GPS signal on the watch. Like I mentioned, there's 3 different GPS options, and in order, notice that it doesn't really fit, because this app is not designed specifically for this watch like you get with a Wear OS device. So Wear OS devices, all these apps are optimized specifically for this watch, whereas these are not. So if you want to get all of your different options, you're going to have to hold down on the power button, and then we're going to switch it to a square watch face, and we'll go ahead and cancel that. And you can see now I have the option of recording an activity. So if I go in here, I can record an activity, and when I do that, alright, so you can see that it's actually acquiring GPS. So now I can actually use it with GPS, and if I want I can go back to a round face because it actually looks a little bit better. on Strava, and so we'll go ahead and hit start even though it hasn't got it. And then we have time, split average, and then what is that one down there? Not really sure what that is there, and then our distance. So it'll show us all the necessary pieces that we want. So that's of course if you want to do workouts with the watch and you want some accurate workouts. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go out of that. We'll keep it on round watch face though. Notice that when I swipe from the left, I can go back, and I just got a notification over there, so I'll go ahead and show you the notifications as well, so we can apparently watch a live NBA game. This is actually the company that sent it out, Banggood.com. They're asking me to share the link, which of course I'm going to, and then my wife sent me a message as well, so you can see I can get my notifications, and I can just notice I can't reply to it. All I can do is see it. And that is the full message that she sent. Alright, so now a couple other things I wanted to show you, so you can of course play games on it. So I'll go ahead and show you what it's like to play this, and you'll see about how long it takes to load up. So this is Temple Run, kind of like the basic original Temple Run game, not Temple Run 2. Not all games are going to be compatible with this, but the fact that you can just play games on it is pretty cool. And again, this watch is only $150, and all of the sensors work well. You can see that I can go ahead and swipe, and I can make the guy turn side to side as you would normally in the game, and we're just going to go ahead and crash to end it, and you can just see how it works. Alright, so that, and then of course now it's going to show me a video. You can hear the microphone there, or sorry, the speaker, to give you an idea of what that's like. Alright, so we'll get out of that, and we'll go out of there. And now one thing I haven't shown you yet is the settings, so we'll go ahead and go into the settings here in just a second, but let's go back into some other apps. I wanted to go ahead and play a quick song from Spotify. So you can download music right to the watch. It has 16 gigs of internal storage, so if you want to download some playlists, whether it be Google Play Music, of course you can actually get Apple Music because this is running full Android, and then if you want Spotify, so I think I have some songs queued up here, so let's go ahead and so you can hear what it sounds like coming out of the speaker a little bit. Alright, so now one thing that's kind of cool there, oops, did not mean to do that one. Alright, so it actually becomes a notification, because normally, like if you're listening to Spotify, there's a notification for it on your phone. So just like that, this is basically a full-blown phone. So we're going to go ahead and swipe out of here. Notice that now I also have a notification here, and I can go ahead and play it from here, and I can like the track, previous track, open, and dismiss. So those are all options there. So now let's go ahead and go into the settings. I'm not going to go through all of the settings because there are plenty of different videos that are out there about running through this entire software. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look at the camera first. So here it is, here I am. So I'm going to show you a couple of pictures I took a little bit earlier. So this is a low light photo that I took a little bit earlier today. Let's go ahead and swipe through it. There is a much better lit photo, so not too bad. Of course, it's basically just front facing, and then
hey, I'm recording myself right now. You need to be quiet, young lady.
So I was just picking on my daughter there. Alright, so just a quick look at the fact that we do have a camera. You can use it for video chatting or whatever you want. Really cool. And then let's go into the settings. So a couple things I wanted to show you in the settings. So if we go into display, you can see that right down here we have, of course, brightness level, which you can adjust earlier, but we also have always time. So this is not available on all full Android smartwatches, but what that does is, we'll get out of this real quick. When I hit the power button, notice that it still shows a digital display. Now, it is a very dim display, so notice that that is even hard to see from my camera. It's a super well lit room right now, but that is quite hard to see. So if you're in bright sunlight, when it's on showing this always time, so yes, it is an always on display. Of course, that's going to burn through the battery a little faster, but it is very dim. It is hard to see. So it's not super useful when you're in broad daylight. At night, it's just fine, but in broad daylight, that is quite hard to see. All right, so going back into the settings, of course, we have our app stylist. We can adjust how it looks. So that's just arc and round. We can connect up to Bluetooth. We can connect up to Wi-Fi here. You can see that technically you can use it as a Wi-Fi hotspot. And then we can turn GPS and our cellular networks on there as well. We have some gesture options here. So this, of course, is that hand raise, screen on, whatever it's called. So that's just another option, another way to turn that on. We have some power saving modes. Let's go ahead and run through the different languages and see what's available here. So let's go ahead and add a language. So we have Dutch, Spanish, French, Indonesian, actually that might be German, Italian. Let's just go ahead and run through them because I'm going to make a fool of myself by trying to tell you what all these are, so you know what language you need. But you can see the various languages that are available here. So we'll go ahead and scroll out of that. And let's see, we got date and time. So this is where you're going to adjust it if you want to change it to 12 hours. So you probably noticed that I'm using 12 hour. So if you want to change it to 24 hour or 12 hour, you can adjust that there. And that's about it. So that's just a quick look at the Zeblaze Thor 5. I'm going to be making some videos comparing up to some other watches. There is a really exciting watch from Cospec coming out called the Optimus Prime? No, just the Prime? I can't remember exactly what it's called. But it's going to be coming very soon to the channel. I'll also be comparing it up to the Optimus Pro, and if you're interested, maybe I'll even do a video comparing it up to a Wear OS device. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video. Hope it's been helpful for you, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.